As I start this video, I'm standing in my bee yard. The hives down the row all have bees in them, but this hive no longer has bees in it. As you'll see in this video, I had to take a step to euthanize this hive. I wanted to create this video to give a journey of decision-making process about what to do with a nasty hive. There's a nasty hive, and then there's a dangerous hive. I did an evaluation of this hive by doing an inspection. My intent was to reclaim this hive by requeening it. I set up a plan to go through the hive and find the queen, dispatch the queen, and in beekeeping, the queen decides the aggressiveness of the colony and the offspring. And if you replace the queen with a gentle queen, in time the entire colony will transform into a workable hive, just like the rest of them down the row here. What ended up happening was I was successful in my operation to find the queen and dispatch her, but along the way I evaluated the threat of this hive and the risk of keeping it functional and decided to take action to euthanize the hive. If you're not familiar with that term, dispatch the hive, kill the hive, remove the colony, and I ended up having to take action to kill all the bees in this hive. I've never done that before. It's the first time in my 10+ years of keeping bees, and I don't see videos on the internet of having to face that decision, make this decision, and execute it. That's what this video is about. I'm first going to show you how aggressive the bees were on the day that I went in to do the inspection to find the queen. And then I'm going to show you how I actually went through the process of dispatching this hive yesterday. Now, this is the first time in the spring of 2020 that I could stand in my yard without a bee suit and not get stung. So as much as I hate to say the pain of killing this colony, it's mission accomplished. It was even complicated trying to work on the other hives because I just kept getting stung. So watch this video with the intent to learn. That was the purpose of it, is to show you the evaluation process, and then I made the decision based on risk, which I'll talk about, and then I'll show you how I euthanize this colony. I have a super nasty hive down here, the one that's painted like a cow. Today's the day. I'm gonna go in and get the queen and zap her because I can't live with this. Every time I come in the yard, it's not this bad, but it's this bad. These bees are just out of control. I am wearing 3 pairs of pants, this bee suit, which is spectacular, and 3 pairs of gloves. I have a beekeeping glove on this one and a heavy-duty shop glove. And I think you can see they're stinging the crap out of it. And I had to put nitrile gloves underneath it. Now, I've been to Africa. I've seen Africanized hives. And this is what it's like. This is actually worse than the hives that I saw in Africa. I don't understand what's going on here, but I'm going to take that hive apart, find the queen, or queens, as you will hear, and I'm going to dispatch her and replace the colony, because this is just simply unacceptable. It smells like a banana factory in here. When they sting you, they leave behind a scent, and that's all I smell, and you can see on the glove, they're just out of control. So what I'm going to do is shut the video down, take a break and walk away, and see if I can calm them down, although quite frankly I think as soon as I open the hive this is what I'm going to get. I've been out here in regular jeans, and every time I walk out they accost me, so today I'm going to take care of this. I had a hive 2 years ago that was similar to this, but not this bad. This is the worst of any hive I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to bring you along for the ride. I'm going to record the entire thing. Now, when I do my intervention today, I have other stuff that I want to do. I want to put a brood minder scale, swap the things out, although, quite frankly, I think, given what I'm seeing, I might literally just go for the queen today and be done with it and skip everything else I had planned, because this is just borderline ridiculous. Okay, get to work. That's what I'm gonna do. Let me talk a little bit about what this hive, what the background is on this hive. This is an overwintered hive. It was 2 hives combined. The bad news is I took a split from this hive, and that box over there has the other half. When I took a split, I put this box in the middle, the second deep, and I put nothing but foundation in it. There's also a queen excluder on there. I'm hoping that I made my job easier because there's a lot of bees in this hive. By putting the queen excluder there, I think I could strain the queen to one of the deeps. I'm gonna find out because on May 16th I made that change and it's the 27th now. So when I go in and look at those hives or those colonies in those hive bodies, I should be able to determine which one has brood, and if it has brood, there's a queen in there. One of the things I know about this hive is it's springtime. It's possible that it has multiple queens. I'm gonna take nothing by chance. So what I'm gonna do is take the boxes off and look through every single frame to find the queen. I don't believe she's marked in this one. And I'm gonna look for other virgin queens running around in there. Do I think I'm gonna find one? Probably not, but I'm gonna leave nothing to chance because when I requeen this hive, I don't want them to kill my new queen. One of the things you see set up over there is flat panels, coroplast. I'm gonna take the 2 honey boxes off the top and I'm gonna put them on the coroplast. And then I'm gonna put a screen cover over them to close them off so the bees can't fly. I'm gonna take the top deep box off. I'm gonna put it on that stack. And then I'm going to cover it with screen. Then the only box that I'm gonna have to deal with of flying bees is the bottom box. And I'm hoping that the queen is in there and I'm gonna go in and do the deed. Earlier I had these gloves and I came out here and got stung through them. And I'm really happy with the fact that I've multi-gloved. I'm not being stung. So what I have to remember here is I'm not being stung. As bad as this is, as many stings as these gloves are taking, I could be calm, take a deep breath, and focus on the job at hand. And that's what I'm gonna do. So I lit the smoker, although it don't matter with these guys, and I'm gonna perform the operation that I just did. I'm not gonna talk any further, I'm gonna get to work. Ouch, that one got through. you ever? I haven't. I've never seen anything like this. There's no bees in the box. They're all on me. Unbelievable. Okay, what I see is that there's no brood in that bottom box. And you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm going to close this hive off, and I think I'm going to euthanize it. I'm going to go look up how to do it, because this is ridiculous. This is intolerable. And yes, this glove is not thick enough. They've stung me 2 or 3 times through it, and I'm going to have to go change it. So I'm going to shut the video off here. I'm going to go look for another glove to replace this one. This one, so far, they haven't stung me, although I think you can tell they're trying. They clustered around her, and Okay, look, mission accomplished, I think. I'm going to just button this hive up and walk away. I still don't know whether I'll euthanize it or not, but I know I got the queen. That's the key thing. The funny thing is, over there is a box of honey. I put robber guard on it, and I'm going to try and take it. Might as well get something for my stings today. So I'm going to button everything up, put it in the cart, and leave. And my suspicion is the next X number of times I come out here till I replace the queen and all these bees are replaced, that there's nothing I can do about it. And that's why I would still consider maybe euthanizing the hive. So we'll see. I'm going to think on it. But I know I got the queen, and that's what I was after. But needless to say, working the bees this spring has been awful because of this. This is just absurd. It's never really this bad, but darn if it hasn't gotten this close a couple times. So I'm glad today finally came and went for a milestone. Alright, thanks for watching. So I wanted to show, I'm standing here in a t-shirt and no protection amongst the flying bees, and I'm not in jeopardy. This is typical. These bees are gentle, they're docile, and they're not going to come after me unless I try to invade their hive. Now, if I'm going to go in this hive, I'm going to use a smoker, and it's always responsible to wear a veil. But in the case of the other bees, you saw that I can't even be in the yard when they're on top of me. But here, this is fairly normal. So I wanted to show, before I talk to you about why I do what I'm going to do, I want you to see what normal looks like. You're not in jeopardy with bees. This morning I'm going to do something that is unusual for me as a beekeeper. First time in 10 years, I am going to euthanize the one hive that I have. As you'll see in this video, I have some bees that appear to have some really super aggressive genes in them, maybe Africanized, can't tell that. But the problem lies with making that decision. Do you kill the hive? Do you requeen the hive and reset it? In my case, I've made the decision to euthanize the hive, which is going to kill all the bees, specifically because of how aggressive they are. This is the first time I could stand here in a bee soup with the veil off in the yard without being accosted, and it's because I have the hive completely closed up. I came in and did that last night. One of the things that I know is I have neighbors who ride their horses in the field next door to me, and I have little kids that play in the field up above, and the measurement that I have is that the bees have been coming into the backyard, which is good 50-100 yards away, and accosting us in the backyard as I speak. So I didn't get them all shut up. Some of them are out there. That's the first one that found me this morning though. And it's going to be aggressive, so I'm going to cover up. I've taken my fair share of stings this spring, and I don't care to have any more. So as I was saying, the bees have been knocking at the back window of the house. They've been chasing the dog in the backyard. It's just untenable, and it's dangerous. If my family tries to mow the grass, the bees are going to come get them. So I'm going to take this hive out. I have another colony in reserve to put in this equipment, and I absolutely detest making this decision, but it's the right thing to do. I've been in Africa. I've worked aggressive hives before in the past, mine, others, but nothing like this hive, and it's got to go. Last night when I tried to close it up, even when I had it closed up, the foragers coming back were immediately on the defensive. So what I'm going to do is pour soapy water into the hive. I have 5 gallons of water prepared and a full bottle of dishwash detergent. You have to buy the kind that has the degrease ingredients in it. The best one to buy is Dawn. In this case, I think I couldn't find Dawn at the store, so I got Palmolive or some other brand. But Dawn dishwash detergent has the best degrease. It changes the exterior of the bee, and that's the reason why it kills it. What I'm going to do is I have a ladder. I'm going to set it up, and you'll see from the video that I have a screen enclosure. And in the enclosure, the bees can't come out, but I can pour the liquid down through the hive. You'll see how to do it. So why am I making this video? Because I want to show, I've not been able to find anything that shows how to euthanize a hive. I've seen a lot of posts on BeeSource and other forums, and again, I know that there's a lot of discussion about whether or not you could recover this hive. I actually went in and found the queen and killed the queen with the idea of redoing it, but because the hive is so aggressive, I'm going to take it out. I could take this hive somewhere remote and requeen it. It would take 45 days, but the liability of this particular hive, I'm just not going to take the chance. It's not worth it. You'll see from the video in a few minutes how aggressive this hive is. When I opened it up and had it isolated to a single box, every single bee out of the box came up and covered me. And I've been stung so many times this spring just doing inspections in the other hives. I can't open another hive without the bees from this hive coming and accosting me. And quite frankly, I can't have this risk in my apiary. So I'm going to get to the task. What I have here is I have 2 5-gallon pails. They're both half full, so I didn't spill them. I've already filled them with water, and I'm going to pour this in. What I understand is you need about a cup for every gallon. I do have bees accosting me. Now when I do this, I've sealed the hive off, but not great. I just taped off the front entrance with a guard. I'm not sure if they can get out or not, but I do know that there's bees out and about because they're the foragers that came back in the late evening. So I'm gonna have to wear gloves, and I guarantee by the time I get doing this, they're gonna be all over the place. I don't think they'll be as aggressive, but I'm not gonna take my chances. So all I'm going to do is stir this a little bit so it's mixed in. I don't want it to get really foamy. And then I have a second container that I'm going to use to dip and selectively pour between the seams. And that's how I'm going to perform the task. One of the things I thought about doing is getting a squirt bottle, and I might come do that later, and spray any of the outside bees with soapy water to dispatch them too. I think you can see what occurred. Um, Man, it breaks my heart to have to do this, but I know thinking it through that this was the best. So one of the questions I'm going to get is, what do you do with the hive now? It's soapy water. I'm going to collect all the dead bees. I'm going to take them out and I'm going to rinse all the frames down with water. Just spray them with a hose lightly till all the soap goes away. And then I should be able to just put this hive back in service with another colony. Yeah, it's really sad to do this. And there's a handful of bees around here. You can see they're kind of buzzing. I probably would come back with a spray bottle and get them and whatever is left, and then I'll take it from here. So I'm going to open this entrance and see if they come out. I have to assume that they're done, which they are. So the only thing that's here is whatever was around. Now I've seen other methods that talk about how to do this to a hive. There's discussion about using dry ice. Don't know where you would get that in these days. There's discussion about pouring rubbing alcohol in, and when the rubbing alcohol evaporates, it zaps the bees. You can think about doing mite checks, what the rubbing alcohol does, but I find this less caustic in that way. I'm not pouring rubbing alcohol down through. And again, in these days, you can't waste it. There's so many different ways that people talk about. What the more traditional way was to use a sulfur. You light sulfur on fire in the gas. Basically what you want to do is create an environment that takes away the oxygen for the bees, or does something to impact them. In this case, I think common wisdom, if you look on USDA where they talk about how to euthanize a hive and so on, they recommend the soapy water method, and as you can see, it's quite effective. So I know there's going to be people that disagree with me on this, taking this action. But trust me, after watching that video and understanding the threat to the family and the neighbors and the neighborhood, this had to be done. I would not feel comfortable taking this hive and putting it out somewhere in the middle of a field, for the fact that anybody that comes upon this hive is going to be in serious trouble. And I'm not willing to take that risk. So this is how you do it. Now I have to clean this all up, but the mission is accomplished. I don't like it, but I had to do it, and now it's done.